Hey guys, this is Down Phoenix and welcome to the pilot episode of Annoyances in Gaming. This show is going to take a look at games that are great, amazing, good, however you want to describe, a game of superior quality. But we're going to take a look at specific little details of the game that really just annoy us or frustrate us or bother us about this game that's otherwise really good. Today I'm here to talk about Ratchet and Clank. Now, in case you didn't know, Ratchet and Clank is a platforming game that originally debuted on the PlayStation 2 in 2002, published by Sony Computer Entertainment and developed by Insomniac Games, who you might be more familiar with making games like the Resistance series or Fuse. For its time, Ratchet and Clank was quite an ambitious platforming game because it took the basic platforming mechanics that we grew to love during the 3D platforming era from the PlayStation 1 and Nintendo 64, but it decided to mix it up with a lot of combat, specifically gun-based combat. Now, it's really not hard to see why gamers like myself really like this game when you factor in the excellent gameplay, the excellent graphics, the excellent characters and humor that this game has, as well as the large variety of weapons and gear that you get to use throughout this game. It really is a no-brainer. This game is pretty much the personification of the greatest platformers that we have from the PS1 and Nintendo 64 era, but it was updated for the newer PlayStation 2, Xbox era of gaming. So this game really helps personify that, and frankly it's one of my favorite platformers of that generation or ever. But there are a few things that really bother me about this game, and that's what I'm here to talk about right now. Now, the problems that I'm going to discuss actually stem most prominently on planet Old Tanis, one of the final planets in the game. This game has a pretty good difficulty curve, but when you get to this part, it is just ridiculous. Now, bear in mind, this is for an optional thing called a gold bolt, which you can unlock in this game, but this part is just annoying as hell, because the timing just gets really touchy for no particular reason. I mean, there's other instances where you use the grappling hook in this game, but rarely is it ever an issue of timing. You do have a little bit of timing to a common sense level, at least, but honestly, there's not much to it, unlike in this particular segment of the game, where the timing is pretty damn crazy. And sometimes you might get the button timing of it right, but sometimes the button likes to get stuck, which is why sometimes the grappling hook shuts out, but then it doesn't stay out, because you have kind of an issue with it getting to shoot out, and so you're trying to press it multiple times, and see, like right there, for example. It's not exactly the best way to do it. Which, that's going to bring me up to another point of something that annoys me in this game, but we're going to go on to the other main problem with this level now. One other useful way to get around in this game is to use the magna boots, which allow you to basically walk on metal surfaces, even upside down, like you just saw right there. It is a really cool way of getting around in the game, and it does add an extra dimension to what would otherwise just be pretty much generic 3D levels in a platforming game. Although the level design is actually quite good. It's not just generic 3D levels in this case, but, I'm just saying it could be in another game if it didn't have, I guess, this kind of gimmick. But, as you might notice, these magna boots, even though they magnetize your feet to the surface, you can still easily fall off, which just does not make sense. I mean, seriously. The magnetic forces of the boot to the metal surface should be more than enough to keep you stuck to the surface. Now, normally walking around in this game is not a problem, and I don't really have a problem with staying on a simple platform like this in most cases. But as you see, the game has some really funky camera angles in this particular segment of the game. It doesn't really keep the camera centered on Ratchet automatically. You have to manually adjust the camera. This is what the camera basically does if you don't do anything at all and you just let the game control it, and it's not exactly a good way to go about it. So basically you have to really manage the camera. And of course we got this ice segment as well, but come on, I'm not gonna bash it too much. It's ice. Okay, so anyways, we have both the grappling hook and the magna boots, and the issues that happen with these things. They actually combine to one particular thing that is the most annoying: the checkpoint system. Okay, so I guess you could say we're a little spoiled in modern games where the checkpoint system tends to spawn us fairly close to where we die. And that's not the case with this game. I mean, if this game was meant to be really challenging, I would say that's fine, because that's part of a really challenging game. But in the case of a game like this, it's just really tedious, and just adds an unnecessary burden to playing the game. The checkpoint system is also really rigid. Like, it doesn't checkpoint you until you get to an exact, specific spot. And sometimes it doesn't even work correctly, as I can demonstrate right here. Here's that grappling hook segment, and here's where I spawn after I die this time. Now here's the same grappling hook segment. I die in a slightly different spot, and I all of a sudden spawn in a completely different area. Now, in this particular case, it's just because I walked over to attack those two boxes that it switched the point altogether. That was the spawn point. Not somewhere that's actually intelligent, like, say, after you jump off the landing pad from the ship. No. No, that would make too much sense, right? Too much sense. And then we have this spot right here. This is a nice halfway point, I would say. But it's not actually a spot where you respawn. You just spawn back to this area. Or if you didn't go to attack those two boxes, you spawn back on your ship. So overall, I want the record to be known that I really do enjoy the Ratchet and Clank games, at least the original PlayStation 2 ones. I never got to play any of the ones on PlayStation 3 yet, but I'll take that opportunity in the near future because I do have Ratchet and Clank All for One from PlayStation Plus, which I hear is not that good of a Ratchet and Clank game, but I like to keep my mind open and try it first. But even though I do enjoy this series a lot, there are some things that annoy me with this game. And I'm sure you guys can think of things that annoy you with some of your favorite games. But that's a subject for another time. So with that, guys, Down Phoenix out. Ah! Well, what is that? What the hell is this noise? Oh my god, this is so irritating. What is it? What could be causing this noise? I mean, I finished this video. What else do you want from me? Please, please leave me alone. For the love of God. Oh, okay, I see what it is now. Yeah, very funny game, very funny. Okay, Down Phoenix out.